This is a really cool Baetis nymph. We're going to tie it on a jig. It's called the TRC Baetis. Why do we call it that? Because it uses some turkey, it uses some rabbit, and it uses some coq de leon.
Yeah, that's a big brown.
This is a cool little Euro-style jig nymph that you can use under an indicator, you can use under a dry fly, but it's called a TRC Baetis. Why do we call that? Well, you grab yourself some turkey, just like that. You grab yourself some rabbit, and you grab yourself some coq de leon. That's why it's called a TRC. It has those three items in it. I have a size 16 hook, a 3mm bead, and we're just going to start out by putting a little sparse tail on it with coq de leon. You know, I've had a lot of people ask about pardo, like medium pardo, dark pardo. Any of the pardos are going to be your partner. See that? That could be a slogan, Brigham. Now, dad joke aside, any of those that look somewhat speckly are going to be just fine. So grab whatever coq de leon you can find, and we're going to tie in a real sparse tail just like that. Okay, we're going to advance our thread forward a little bit. We'll get rid of this bad boy, and now we're going to tie in our turkey biot. Now, this turkey biot, you know, you buy a quill like this, and as you can see right here, I've been farming out a few of those pieces. That's where I'm pulling from. This side you can actually kind of do the same thing with, but this is the more ideal side. So I'm just going to take a biot, and instead of trimming it, I'm going to pull it off. And this is critical because when I pull this off, it's going to have a little notch right there. So this notch is critical. When I tie this in, I'm going to kind of face it toward me. I'm going to clean up that junk that came off with it. So as you can see, with the notch facing down, it's kind of angling toward me. But if I tie it in that orientation, it's going to have a nice rib to it when I wrap it. You know what? I need to get this a little bit wet. So I always like to moisten the biots before I start turning them because they are kind of a fragile little feather. I'll tie it in by the tip, and as you can see, the notch back here is facing down, and I'm just going to run that all the way back to where my tail starts. And then one of the little cool factors, or like a cool hot spot on this fly, is this. This is Fulling Mill Micro Flex Floss, and this is, can't even remember what color it is, but it's like a apricot or sunburst or something, but highly UV reactive. So we're going to throw in a little piece of that and show you how we can use that as a hot spot rib on this fly. So I'm going to tie in a little piece right here in the back, and I'll just use touching turns all the way forward, hopefully. Push that little tag in forward. Okay, now I'm going to build in a little bit of taper to this, not a ton. So I'm just going back and forth, building the head, or the forward part of the body a little bit bigger than the back. All right, I think we're good here. So now I'm going to take that biot and start wrapping it. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on my thread. Biots aren't very durable, so any little bit of help we can give them, we will. All right, so I'm going to take that biot, try to keep the flex floss out of the way at first, and see what I'm doing with my thumbs. I'm holding on to that and kind of and mashing it down, but then eventually I switch over to just the rotary feature of the vise. By the way, this is the CNF reference vise. Is that what it's called, Brig?
Yeah.
It's a super cool vise. So I'm just going to wrap those ridges so that they create a nice, even spacing going forward. Once I get here, I'll just take my thread and catch that and tie it off and trim it. Wrap up those butt ends. And now I'm going to take this little piece of rubber leg, and I'm not going to pull it super tight. I'll try to get my hand out of the way. Not very successfully, but I'm wrapping that on the body of that biot, and just following the same wraps that I did forward. Let's see, my tail's getting a little screwy. We'll fix that. All right, so check out how cool that is. Now we've built in a little bit of UV property into that. Now I'm just going to finish that off with the Euro Nymph flash dub from Fulling Mill. Just a little tiny bit. This stuff dubs really nicely. It can pick out if you want it. It has a little bit of flash in it. Just a really cool dubbing for exactly this. So little just tuft of dub on that, and then I'll come forward and build up a little hot spot with my thread. And that's it. So remember, turkey, rabbit, cock, TRC Baetis, and you're in the fish, because check that out. Boom.